I keep laughing at myself trying to do like an intro. I think I'm just gonna like go right into it. My name is Joey. I just want to make a little video today, kind of talking about Star Wars Celebration hotels, kind of the train systems, where you're gonna want to stay, what Makuhari Messe is close to, where Star Wars Celebration is gonna be, and just kind of some of the tips that I've gotten from when I went to Tokyo this year. I was there end of May, beginning of June. I was there 3 weeks. So I got to do a lot of the stuff around Tokyo. I stayed in a little city called Kashiwa for the entire trip, which is about an hour from Tokyo. But we spent a lot of time in Obiko over here, which is a really nice, kind of smaller city. This is not as much of a touristy area, which was kind of interesting. It was kind of more of a nightlife party area. There was like lady bars all over the place. A lot to do at night, so it was a lot of fun for us college kids to be there. But Star Wars Celebration is right here. Where is it? Right here in Chiba City. So Chiba City is kind of this whole area right here, and it's about 45 minutes away from Tokyo. So this is where the convention is. So I've actually been here actually. I'll put up a picture right now. But I was going to a Zozo Marine Stadium, which is where the Yokohama Bay Stars are. And I wanted to watch a game and I realized I was like, holy shit, like Makuhari Messe's right there. I got to go check it out. So I kind of walked around. It does look pretty big. I'd say it's just as big as Excel Center in London, if not bigger, I'd say. I didn't get a good look of it. I could just kind of walk around the outside, but it was kind of cool to get a feel for it. I think you're definitely going to enter from this front side opposite of the bay. The train station, I believe, how do you say this? Kahimakuhari. This will definitely be the station that you're going to get off at if you're staying anywhere not directly next to Makuhari. So just keep that in mind. It's good to stay close to a station. If you're not able to get a hotel close to Makuhari, you want to be in close proximity to a train station. In Japan, driving there is completely different from the US. You're on the different side of the road, and they don't like to give foreigners international driver's license. It's very difficult to get. And taxis are substantially more expensive, especially for foreigners, than taking the train. So me and my family, actually, we didn't get a hotel right next to Makuhari when they started opening up some of the hotels bookings. I was unaware. So we did not get that. So we ended up booking a place right over here by Chiba Station. We're around here in this area. So Chiba Station is about 5 miles from Makuhari. So a lot of people will say that you want to be right next to the convention, and that is a huge plus. Personally, I'm going to wait for the hotel block to go live on Star Wars Celebration's website. I'm going to see how much it is compared to how much I paid for here. And if I can get a good deal right next to the convention, I'm definitely going to do that. But if you can't do that, hotels really aren't super expensive in Japan. I think I got 2 rooms for 4 people in this Chiba area for $650, and that's for 5 nights for 4 people. So really inexpensive, and you can find stuff that's cheaper. And in Japan, a lot of times, like, they really care about the aesthetic, how things look. They care about taking care of you, making sure that they're going above and beyond for everything that they can do. They're the most considerate culture I've ever experienced. So even the tiny rooms, like in Japan, you got to be ready for very, very, very small rooms. You won't want to pack a huge luggage, like overly big, because you won't even have room to like sit down if you have too much luggage or things with you. So you want to pack light, especially if you're going to buy a bunch of stuff at Celebration. But my point that I was getting at, if you can find a hotel that's within like 5 or so miles of Makuhari, and you can get close to a station, because you don't want to walk to a train station. You don't want to have to like travel on the train, and then when you get back or there, have to walk for like 15-20 minutes. So a lot of hotels are by the stations, and that's a huge factor. If you can just less than 5 minutes get to the station, then that is what you're going for. But we're super close to the Chiba train station, and it's about 15 to 30 minutes to get to Makuhari. I'm getting weird times. For example, on Apple Map or Google Maps, it says it's an hour and a half to get from Kashiwa Station to Tokyo. I don't believe it ever took that long. I think it was roughly an hour. I think there's a direct line from the Chiba station over here all the way to the Makuhari train station. And I think it's going to take like 15-20 minutes. You'll just have to time it sometimes and make sure that you catch the train, because some trains, they'll stop at multiple stations in between a route, and that can slow it down substantially. Sometimes, like maybe every 15-20 minutes, one train will go and it's a direct route there. Handling the trains is a little difficult, and especially when you're a Westerner and you're in a country, an Asian country that you're not familiar with, especially like Japan, it's very overwhelming. I used Apple Maps pretty much. That's all I used my entire time there, and for the most part, Apple Maps worked. You kind of have to fill in the spaces and not overthink it, and you have to accept that sometimes when you are trying to get somewhere, you're gonna take a wrong exit, and you can't get upset about it. It's just gonna happen. A lot of the time the signs aren't in English. You kind of have to use some of your Japanese skills a little bit, which I do recommend learning a little bit of the alphabet just to get by directions wise a little bit. But one thing I found hugely helpful is sometimes I'd get on a train platform and I wouldn't know which side I was supposed to go to, and each side goes a different way. But your Apple Maps, it will show you what direction the front of your phone is pointing, and you can see where your train is supposed to go direction wise. And then that really helped me, because if I knew the train was supposed to go this way, then if a train that shows up at the same time as my Apple Maps says is going this way, I know, okay, that's not the one I'm supposed to go on, but I'm on the right platform, so I know it has to be this train that's going the direction that my Apple Maps is saying. And when I did that, I'd say 95% of the time I got on the right train, because sometimes Apple Maps isn't quite linked up with the times or what train is going to stop where. I found that confusing. It'll be interesting going back to see if I get a better handle on it. I had some classmates who kind of were just able to read the signs and it clicked in their brains there to figure out. I usually tried to use Apple Maps, and just that worked for me. I was able to go pretty far. I went all over the place in Tokyo in my last week, and explored by myself, and I didn't really have any problems getting around. I missed a train a couple of times and sometimes would have to wait. Same with the buses. Like it's just kind of a part of the gig. But I would recommend downloading Suica. So Suica it's basically like a debit card, I'd say, that you load money onto, you load yen onto, and it is what everyone uses it is what everyone uses in Japan to pay for their train tickets. So Suica is an app that you can download on your iPhone, and the whole page is going to be in Japanese, but there's going to be somewhere on there where you can hit add to Apple Wallet. If you already have the Apple credit card, that's a big plus, because they don't have any foreign transaction fees. So the US dollar is very strong against Japanese yen right now. So I would honestly recommend loading some yen into the Suica card just so you get more bang for your buck now, because I think it's starting to go back up a little bit. And when you add it to your Apple Wallet, the Suica card, which is very easy to do, I'm not going to explain it because you should be able to figure it out. You just tap your phone at the train station when you enter and when you exit, and it automatically calculates how much you owe. This saves a lot of time, because you can try and buy tickets at the kiosks that they have in every train station. I would not recommend that at all. It's very confusing, the interface, especially if you don't speak Japanese. The workers there will always be very friendly and helpful, but it's just when there's a language barrier, especially Japanese to English, it's very hard to communicate. So I would just recommend getting the Suica app now, putting some yen into it, or just buying it more yen when you get there, because it's just going to make it a lot easier. As soon as you get off the plane, there's going to be a train station probably at the airport, and that's how you're going to get around. Everyone uses the train. Again, morning and afternoons, it can get busy. There were definitely times where I was crowded on a fucking train full of hundreds of people, and you're standing barely keeping your own space. If that is the case, always put your backpack on your front. It's considered disrespectful to keep it on your back, because then you're taking up the space of two people with the backpack on. So you always want to put it on your front. There's certain sections. Some trains are just for women. Some sections are for injured or elderly people. So you want to be aware of those things. I will say, I think there's kind of a stigma that maybe Japanese people are uptight or so traditional that they don't like foreigners. That was not my experience, especially when it came to clothing. Like I packed all jeans and everything. I thought that was gonna be a huge deal. They're really not. As long as you're a kind, considerate person, you don't like fuck around or do stupid shit, then people are gonna like you. I had restaurant workers. I went and got pizza by myself at a place right next to my hotel in Kashiwa, and they like the whole staff came out and said hi to me after I had dinner and asked me where I was from. They gave me a piece of chocolate. Super nice. They will. I was with one of my classmates and I think we went to the Tokyo Sky Tree and we were getting lost trying to find the station. And this worker, it was a tea shop and he had samples. And we didn't even take a sample. We just asked him for help. He walked like 50 yards with the tray in his hand away from his like job post just to show us where the elevator was to get to our train. So they're very kind and considerate. So as long as you're just kind of have common sense and don't do any stupid shit, you're gonna be fine. You don't have to wear jeans all the time. Girls can wear tank tops. Japanese women really won't show any skin or cleavage because that's their culture, but they're not gonna get upset most of the time if you as a foreigner are wearing your own country's casual clothes. So that's something I think it's good to think about when you're going for the first time. Don't be so worried about the culture, having to figure it out. My dog is freaking out. What's Amy? You're okay? I don't know if you can see her. I think she's having a bad dream. Where's she go? Anyway, some things close to Makuhari. So again, Makuhari is right here. The Yokohama Bay Stars is one of the professional teams in Japan. And their home stadium is the Zozo Marine Stadium. It is immediately right next to Makuhari Messe. So I don't know if their schedule has been released, but we should be able to find out probably pretty soon whether or not they're going to have a home game here during Star Wars Celebration. If they are, I would highly recommend going and catching a baseball game if you're any kind of baseball fan. The atmosphere is totally different. They are explosive loud. They have like student section cheering squads, but it's like regular people for each team on either side of the stadium, and the stadium just explodes every time. It was super, super fun. They do little games. Beer and food is incredibly cheap and it's delicious. I got like 2 separate meals and a beer for like probably less than $10 there. Again, this was in May, June. This was when like the yen was at its lowest, or so it was just everything was super cheap. But I still think when we're gonna be there for Star Wars Celebration, it's not gonna be super expensive still. Disneyland is right over here, so it's probably like a 20-minute train ride over here. So like me and my family are gonna go do both the Disney parks over here. Again, Tokyo is very close. It's about 45 minutes from Makuhari Station. Obviously, Tokyo Station is right here next to the Imperial Palace. That's what this is right here. The Imperial Palace is amazing. You kind of just walk and see the architecture, learn about where buildings were. There were a lot of fires, so a lot of the originals are not there. I think this is where we explored mostly. I wonder if this is where like the Japanese royalty actually lives, because I don't remember seeing any like modern buildings or buildings that look lived in currently. But this is a whole park that I'd spent like 2 or 3 hours exploring. They have little gardens and everything. Definitely worth checking it out. Tokyo Station has like a whole shopping mall under it. They have a Lego store where you can get here, I'll show you. They have a Lego store where you can print your name in Japanese on a brick. So I got, this is Joey, in katakana on a gold brick. So that's super cool. They have a bunch of sets, but they have like a Pokemon store. I think they have a Studio Ghibli store in there. It's basically a whole shopping area that's super cool. And the Tokyo Station itself, it's like half the original building and half modern. I believe this side, the longer side, is the more modern side. But super cool to look at. And there's of course lots of restaurants. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in this area specifically, so I can't recommend anything off the top of my head. Me and my family are going to stay here again when we go for a few days so we can kind of explore the Tokyo area. Because Tokyo is basically one big city made up of 10 or so other cities, such as Shibuya or where is... I guess Taito would be one. I thought there was Shinjuku right over here. Meiji Jingo is incredible. I would highly recommend going to Meiji Jingo. There was an emperor, and basically this was like a plains area, and they planted like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of trees and turned it into a forest. And it is a beautiful place to go and hike. They have some little water areas, ponds, koi fish, little turtles in the water. It was super, super cool to see. And there's a lot of good food in this area. Where's the station? Harajuku. This might be where we were, where we got off of. But Shibuya City is home of Shibuya Crossing, where 3 million people cross that road every single day. Absolutely a must if you're gonna visit Tokyo. You gotta go see Shibuya. They have like a 5-story Starbucks there full of like anime figurines. You can pay like $40 or something and get unlimited Starbucks drinks. It's all self-serve. A lot of students will use it for studying. So gotta go to Shibuya, gotta go to Meiji Jingu. A few other things, Tokyo Tower, kind of like the Eiffel Tower, but not as big. I did go up here and explore this, totally worth it. It lights up at night. I think I saw it at night and the view was pretty amazing. So I would definitely recommend the Tokyo Tower. There's also the Tokyo Sky Tree, which is over here a little further away. Tokyo Sky Tree is tall as fuck. I've never seen a view quite as incredible as the Tokyo Sky. I mean, this kind of encapsulates it, but you go all the way to the tippy top up there and you can see all of Tokyo. I would like to go at night this time. I was there during the day, but absolutely incredible view. Maybe I'll put up some pictures that I took. Definitely recommend the Tokyo Sky Tree. Senso-ji, I didn't realize how cool this place was until I went there, but definitely a cool place. A lot of these temples and everything, they're super cool to explore, but they can be very busy and lots of tourists. If you go in the morning, Japan doesn't really start up until 10 a.m. So stores won't be open, breakfast won't be open, but if you go places early, the trains start at like 6 a.m. You're gonna be able to see a lot and avoid all the crowds. So even if you're not an early bird, I would recommend while you're here in Japan, maybe get up early so you can go explore some things without so many people being around. But that's about it that I wanted to go over for now. Suica card, yeah, you're gonna be using trains a lot. I didn't get in a single car in the 3 weeks I was there in Japan. A few buses. I'll probably make another video going over all the places I went to specifically because I want to kind of do a refresher myself and remind me of everything I did and saw so I can help my family and I kind of plan everything. But we're in a good spot. Tokyo, there's a lot to do in Tokyo. If you're there for only 2 weeks, then or even a week, you're going to be able to fill up most of your time with just Tokyo alone. And then if you want to go further, personally, me and my family are actually going to go to Okinawa, which I'm not sure where Okinawa is. I thought it was kind of around here, but we're going to spend a week in Okinawa after spending some time in Japan or Tokyo. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions specifically about Japan, getting around, food. I might make a video about how much things cost and how much you might want to budget. But I spent 3 weeks there, so I have a decent grasp, and I feel much more confident going back that it'll be fun getting around and interacting with people again. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Oh, one side note: if you go to Ueno is how you pronounce it. Do not go to the Ueno Zoo. It is sad how poorly treated the animals are at that zoo. Random side note, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. So have a good one.